The journey to Mecca. In the heart of West Africa, under the golden sun that kissed the dunes of the Sahara, one man prepared to embark on a journey that would shake the world. His name, Mansa Musa, the Emperor of Mali, a man whose footsteps would leave golden trails across the sands of time. But this wasn't just a pilgrimage, it was a declaration, a message to the world, that Africa, the land of Mali, stood tall in power, wealth, and faith. So, let's go back to the year 1324. Mansa Musa, now several years into his reign, had transformed Mali into a mighty empire, stretching from the Atlantic coast to the edge of the Sahara. The gold mines of Bambuk and Wang era overflowed. The markets of Timbuktu and Gao buzzed with merchants, scholars, and travelers from across the world. But Musa wasn't just a ruler obsessed with riches. He was a man of deep faith. And in the Islamic world, one journey stood above all others, the pilgrimage to Mecca, known as Hajj. And when Mansa Musa decided to go, he didn't plan a simple trip. Oh no, he planned a journey so massive, so extravagant, that it would echo across centuries. The grand preparation. Before a single camel moved, the empire of Mali began to stir. Towns were ordered to prepare food, craftsmen were summoned to create gold ornaments, and royal scribes recorded every item that would travel across the desert. Mansa Musa didn't go alone. He took an entourage of over 60,000 people. Think about that. 60,000. Soldiers, scholars, servants, griots, merchants, and slaves, all marching together. He brought 12,000 royal servants, each dressed in fine Persian silk, carrying staffs of pure gold. Behind them came hundreds of camels, each loaded with gold bars, dust, and ornaments. Some say each camel carried up to 300 pounds of gold. And then there were the horses, powerful beasts adorned with embroidered saddles, shimmering with gems. The air was thick with the sound of drums, horns, and chants as the caravan assembled outside the capital, Niamey. Mansa Musa wasn't just going to Mecca, he was taking Mali to the world. Across the Sahara, endless, brutal, and blinding. But Musa's caravan was prepared. They crossed from Mali into the lands of the Tuareg, through to Gaza, a salt mining region where the air burned with dryness and the sand glowed white like snow. Travelers described the caravan as a moving city, stretching beyond sight. During the day, the golden dust followed them like a halo. At night, the fires of thousands lit up the desert. Musa ensured that no one went hungry or thirsty. Water-bearers rode ahead to fill leather containers, and cooks prepared food for the entire company. But beyond the riches and comfort, this journey tested faith and endurance. Many grew weary, some perished under the scorching sun. Yet Musa pressed on, patient, steady, and focused on the divine destination. For him, this was more than duty. It was submission, a journey of humility before God, to cleanse his soul and seek blessings for his empire. Arrival in Cairo. After months in the desert, Mansa Musa and his entourage reached Cairo, the capital of the Mamluk Sultanate, one of the grandest cities of the Islamic world. Word had already spread that an African king was coming, leading a caravan of gold. When Musa entered Cairo, the streets erupted in awe. People poured out from mosques, merchants left their shops, children climbed rooftops, all to catch a glimpse of this mysterious emperor from the west. The Sultan of Egypt, Al-Nasir Muhammad, invited Musa to his palace. But here's where things get interesting. Tradition demanded that every visitor bow before the Sultan, a gesture of respect. But Mansa Musa refused. He said, "I bow to none but Allah." At first, this caused tension. The Egyptian court was shocked. No one had ever dared such boldness. But then Musa explained, humbly yet firmly, that his refusal came from faith, not pride. The Sultan, impressed by his dignity and wealth, welcomed him with open arms. The king who spent gold like sand. What happened next became legend. While in Cairo, Mansa Musa spent gold like no man before him. He gave away so much that the value of gold in Egypt dropped for over a decade. That's right, Musa's generosity caused inflation. Prices of goods skyrocketed because gold suddenly became common. He donated to the poor, built mosques, supported scholars, and gifted gold to every official he met. Cairo had never seen anything like it. Imagine this: a king so wealthy that his charity literally shook an economy. That's Mansa Musa. But Musa's spending wasn't just showmanship. It was strategy. Everywhere he went, he spread the name of Mali, a kingdom of faith, power, and generosity. He turned his pilgrimage into diplomacy, making alliances and attracting traders who would later flood into Mali's markets. The journey to Mecca. After weeks in Cairo, Musa continued toward the holy city of Mecca. The desert path turned from gold to red, from sand to sacred ground. When he finally reached Mecca, Musa fulfilled his lifelong dream, performing the rituals of Hajj with humility and devotion. In that moment, the richest man on earth stood barefoot among millions, equal before God. Witnesses said he prayed with tears in his eyes. His voice echoed softly through the Kaaba's courtyard as he thanked Allah for guidance and mercy. It was here that Mansa Musa's spirit transcended wealth. He wasn't just a king, he was a servant of faith. Return, journey, and transformation. On the way back to Mali, Mansa Musa's fame had already traveled ahead of him. From Egypt to Arabia, from the Maghreb to Europe, his story spread like wildfire. He returned not as the same man who left, but as a symbol of African greatness. He brought with him architects, scholars, and poets, men who would later transform cities like Timbuktu and Gao into centers of learning and culture. Among them was Abu Ishaq al-Sahili, an Andalusian architect who would design the grand mosques and palaces of Mali, buildings that still inspire awe to this day. And when Musa rode back into Niani, the people cheered as gold shimmered once more under the sun. But now Musa's wealth had a purpose. He invested it in education, in art, and in faith. His pilgrimage had reshaped his vision. He had seen the world, and he wanted the world to see Mali. Legacy of the Golden Pilgrimage. Historians would later call it the most extravagant pilgrimage in human history. A journey that connected Africa to the Middle East, that made Mali's name known from Cairo to Venice, from Mecca to Constantinople. Maps began to appear in Europe, showing a black king seated on a golden throne, holding a nugget of gold. That image was Mansa Musa. His journey changed not just his empire, but how the world saw Africa, not as a place of mystery, but as a land of wisdom, wealth, and civilization. And so, as the golden sands settled behind him, Mansa Musa returned home, not as a conqueror, but as a pilgrim, a man who carried faith in his heart and destiny in his hands. His journey to Mecca wasn't just about reaching a holy city, it was about showing the world the brilliance of Mali, the light of Africa that still shines centuries later.